4, 3, 2, 1. All right, hey guys, welcome to another of In Motion. We're doing another In Motion Shorts tonight, and so we're going to be talking about how professionals, like where do we work on how to be professional and when to have fun. And the reason for that is like some people want to know when to be their fun self or when to be professional, whether they're doing like a small business or like a general connection. And it's important to know the difference between the two. So we're going to be having a slow talk about that tonight. So I got my friend Mitchell Rubin here to give us a little brush up, and like I said, we'll see where we go from there. You got the floor.
Hey everyone. Yeah, like my friend was saying, there are times when we are to be professional, especially at work. When you're taking care of someone and you're the adult of the group, and if you're representing someone as like outside of your business, like if you got like as my company always says, if you got the work uniform on, then you're still a part of that company and you're representing them, so you got to act professional. But as far as when it's okay to have fun, I usually say one, as soon as you're in your own clothes, you're home, you're relaxing. I feel like that's the best time to just relax, do what you want. Maturity level can go down, and especially when you're out with friends, just winding down. That's always a good time to be your full self. Uh, but Aaron, what would you say? Your opinion about the borderline in between having fun and being serious? Like, when do you think it's okay to start having fun?
Okay, so what the way I see is having fun is like, it's one thing like, everyone as like growing up when you get out of high school and you're going through certain colleges and you're trying to figure out like when you go through college, you're trying to figure out what you're trying to do, how you're trying to live your life, and what you want to do for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
But like you want to intentionally make a point as far as like how you're trying to do that, and like do you have a system, and do you have something you're trying to live by, and what you're trying to do to go by that. And it's really tough because you know what, you're trying to figure out these different aspects, and at the same time you're trying to build a emotional and possibly physical system. And that's like tough. Like it's one thing to say it, but like it's another thing trying to make that happen. And way I see it is like you want to do it step by step. You don't want to rush anything because when you rush it, it just turns out to be very, unethical. And you want to make sure it works because when you rush things, it doesn't turn out to be the way you think about it. You think about something and then you rush it, and then it doesn't turn out that way because you rushed that turn aspect. So you want to make sure that everything goes the way you want it to go, especially when it involves other people, because that's a very difficult thing. So my aspect on trying to get where you want to be is that you take your time, because if you don't take your time, then it's not going to come out to be the way you want it, because like you're trying to think of something. It's like you ever hear that? You ever hear that aspect? Is like you thought of it and it's not the exact way you want. It's like you ever heard of that aspect? It's like it was better in your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've heard of that a couple of times. It's like, and that's the way sometimes it is. Like
Well, especially even when it comes to words, when it comes to what we say to people, that's why they always say think before you speak, because sometimes a joke or a conversation, whatever it is you're going to say to someone, sounds better in your mind, but then you say it out loud and then it comes out the wrong way. Maybe it's just the way you said it, or but like you had the thought of like what you're trying to say, but it came out like an insult. Sometimes that happens, but yeah. um no, I totally agree with that. And then what you were saying before about the you want to slowly get to where we like the idea that we want to do and getting to it. I agree with that because that's what we have internships for, and that's why we have what do they call it? Internships and what's I'm trying to think of that word. We're like it's kind of like a partnership. You're not like fully hired.
Internship.
No, not internship. It's with the P. Apprenticeship. Apprenticeship. Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Okay.
Yeah, and and again, that's you building up the experience. So that way you get you learn how to do the behind the scenes. The easy stuff first. Then you build up to the more advanced part that gets to the part that leads to your career. And I definitely think starting slow also gets your foot in the door easier than trying to do it straight in. Because people when they hire you, they're always looking for, oh, all right, how long have you been doing this? What do you know how to do? And then and it's not always sometimes it's not just the one thing you're doing. Like for me, I do photography, but sometimes it's also good to know video editing, audio editing, and to learn how to do the lighting and stuff like that. It all pieces to all one of the same job.
No, I agree with you on that. You know what? It's very enticing to what you're trying to do, because like you gotta keep in the method that what you're expecting of, because when you're expecting of it, it's really a very big moment.
Yeah, don't learn just a little piece of it. Sometimes it's good to learn extra, so that way you can learn like the whole aspect of it. Yeah.
Well, like I said, when you're on the football field and you want to look at the perimeter, like you got the whole left, first base, second base, third base. You want to look at the outfield. Like the outfield, they got an important method going on. You see that ball flying, and like they're gonna if they see the ball flying, they're not gonna sit there and be like, oh, the ball's flying.
No,
They're gonna want to catch it.
Right.
They're gonna want to catch it. So they're the outfielders. So they got their part. They know their part. Like if it passes the whole sand line, that's their part. So they're like, oh, the ball's coming. So so everyone's got to know their part.
It's nice to know how to hit a ball with a bat, but if you don't know how to catch a ball, you don't know how to run the bases without getting tagged out, then you only know part of the game, and you're going to be one of the worst players in the team.
No, I mean, like, as far as being the worst player on a team, it's like that's like a personal preference. But like, you have to know like your potential stage when you're doing your part. Yeah. And like, this is beyond the whole sports part. This is more like you knowing that this is where you got to be and this is what you got to do, and you got to know your responsibility. So like, when you're out there doing what you got to do, you have to know what your personal responsibility is and how you make the flow happen.
Well, we'll put it this way. You do acting, so for you learn your roles, you learn your part, you learn about your character, but it's also important that you learn about the other characters and how they are tied to your character, so you know the full story of what's going on, how to react to it, and how to make it into like I said, one production of everyone and not just your one character. Because if you know only your character and you don't know what's going on with the rest of the scene, then you're gonna be lost, and you're not gonna have that full. You're not gonna bring out the full aspect of your character as to relationships to the whole play. It just doesn't work that way. Especially especially if it's like a musical. Like then you have to learn how to the acting and have it lead into the song, which I don't think I've ever done, but
no, I mean, I totally agree with what you say about that. It's like, you know what? You have to know how it's going to lead, but like at the same time, like you got to know where, like when you lead it, it's going to be coming on that. Like you got to know the outcome to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to know where, like, there. So like, I mean, we're not all mind readers, but
but that's where the cues come in.
Yeah, no, I get that, and it's just like more is like you got to know, the possibilities. If you know what I mean by possibilities, like obviously, like you say one thing and it can have like it can open up like 10 other possibilities when you say one certain phrase. I know it's weird, but it's just how it like some people perceive it. But like that's why it's always important to like inject the way you're trying to say it and then follow it up with something. It's like, oh, okay, so this is how, like, I'm saying this, but I'm saying this because of that. Now, if this makes any sense, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just, pointing it out. It's like, we want to point it out how we're saying it because, like, a lot of people, you say one thing and then it turns out to be something else, so to speak. You know what I mean?
I think I know what you mean. So I'm assuming you mean more in the way it's not what you say, but how you say it, and that
Exactly.
yeah, because that is true. Because I sometimes it's literally just what's the word I'm looking for? The infliction you put behind it. Like I could say, like no way, get out, or no way, get out. Like one sounds aggressive and angry, and the other one's like kind of joking, and the language that the English language or any language in general is interesting at how like literally just the meaning behind the sentence can change by changing the inflection behind it. You know, I don't really study like English like that, but I know that at least that much about it. Uh, but yeah,
No, I get what you're saying. It's like it's because, like I said, the way people say it nowadays, like they say to a very strong event, and honestly, it's like, okay, so who are you like? Are you preaching to the choir? Or are you preaching to like a particular group? And I don't like appreciate the idea of particular group. It's like I'm not prejudiced on that situation. Everybody is agreeable to be who they are, and like I'm okay with that. We shouldn't change people who they are in any aspect as long as they're not affecting other people.
I think that kind of depends on one what the topic that you're like in the conversation, like the context of it. Like obviously if you're an influencer or if you're a preacher or something like that, that's their job to kind of direct it to the audience, not always to like I said, it's not always to change someone, but just to kind of like bring an awareness to the people about the thing that they're trying to talk about. But then if they're but usually when it's about trying to change someone or something like that, it's usually more on a personal level, and they usually try to make it clear by saying like, "Hey, well, I noticed this and that is going on in the world, um, and here's what I've done, here's what I've gone through," and then they'll try to turn that into, well, this is how you can get help if you're going through something similar, you know. But yeah.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's like, what? That's why it's in today's modern era, you want to be careful about what you say because you know what? Some people can take it to a certain offense, but like the most important thing is you don't want to make sure that that's how you're not trying to portray it. You're trying to say it in the most serious possible way, but like you want to make sure that you're not saying it to personally offend them. You're saying it because you want to be absolutely real about how you're trying to say it because it's you know in today's modern movement it's like you say one thing and somebody gets offended about it, but you're not trying to offend them, but that's how they take it.
I think that might be tied to um like the generational slang and the way that they speak to each other, because I notice the way that one like you me the way that you and I talk to each other, we understand each other
Yeah.
because we have the same generational language.
Yeah.
But someone from like Gen Z or Gen whatever, their language, the way that they speak and understand each other, there are times where yes we on a simple level, like yeah, we all understand each other, but there, like I said, there's certain phrases, certain slangs that they use that might not translate from each not translate in the same conversation, and because of that, it might like I said, it might cause confusion or arguments within the context of how they're trying to say it.
No, I agree with that. Like I said, you're right. and it's all dependent on how you say it, because you know what, it's, you're trying to help somebody out in one way, but like, it depends how you say it. It depends how they take it, because you never know how somebody is, and you want to make sure that you're trying to say it in the way that it's helping them, but at the same time you have to be a little bit like, you have to say it in a realistic manner. It's like,
Yeah.
this is how it is, and if you're not going to do this, then that's how it is. But
Well,
you're not saying it because you don't want to hurt them. You're saying it because you want to say it how it actually is.
well, yeah, because I know. Well, one example is I would say someone was did something bad, and then no, like a child or whatever. Sometimes the way that they would confront them about it would I noticed like there'll be some parents they grew up in a with a tough family, so to them it was about you had to be it was about like that tough kind of punishment that they had uh where if you did something bad they sometimes they'll I don't know. They had a different parentings, so sometimes when they have when, I lost my train of thought. All right, what I'm trying to say is how some people will be more upfront, and then they'll be like I said, they'll be assertive. They might raise their voice about it, and to show that they are being serious about the thing that you did and the punishment. But I noticed in the later generations they're more softly spoken, and because they're trying to be the uh, from what I hear they're trying to be like the friendship parents, and that's their parenting style. And when they do something bad, they're like, "Oh, sweet, please don't do that." Like no, that doesn't work for like all the gender. Like trust me, I've seen people do that, and it doesn't work. It doesn't give the the discipline. That's why I personally believe that affirmation is one thing, so that way they know that you're being serious about this thing. Yeah, they did something wrong. To let them know why they did what they wrong, not in a way that you're like putting them down, but let them know like, hey, like what you said to that person wasn't nice. You really, and sometimes they don't understand it, especially like the younger kids. They don't understand it because they're still learning about that stuff. But if they're like a teenager, like they should know better.
No, trust me, I understand what you're saying. It's like, nowadays, like, you never know who's teaching who's somebody's up. And you know what? You want to get, the right information. Like, I know it's a hard definition to understand what the right information is, but like, you know what? My thing is like, as long as you're doing something that's not harming somebody else, it's more of the right aspect, because, you're changing things in your own lives, but you're not doing something to harm somebody else's life. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, that goes back to what we were saying before, knowing when to be professional, when to be a grown up with responsibilities, and when it's okay to step back and be the fun person, and when to goof around and be a child or childish. It's okay to be childish as an adult, but you have to also know when to be an adult and actually like have responsibilities. You know,
Yeah, no, like I said, and it's basically on the concept is that, you know when to be, like have fun, and just be around general people that, like, know how to have fun, but at the same time it's like more like you need to know when there's a professional level, when certain things need to get done. And it's like, you're not trying to be rude about it, but like, you need to know when things need to like come up. And that's the hard part though, because some people take it as a rude aspect, but like, the challenge is trying to say it, but letting them know it's not to be rude. You know what I mean?
they're talking about like confrontation.
No, I'm talking about like letting somebody know that this is what has to be done, but you're not trying to be like extremely rude about it. I know like sometimes people like to be harsh on when they say when things need to get done, but like, I know nobody wants to hear the hard way out. But it's
Well,
just like
that's where communication comes in line.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Because communication, like I said, that's where one where border lines are built, and where people know, okay, hey, I don't feel comfortable at this or that, or and so that way, they know, okay, well, we can't do that because they don't feel comfortable, or they deal with someone else. Two, like I said, just availability in general, and it also like I say, it makes planning things in general easier when you have the communication because otherwise it gets a little messy. Just me. And unfortunately, yeah, sometimes situations change and fluctuate a lot, and we have to learn to adapt with that. And unfortunately, the older we get, the harder it can get sometimes to ride that river.
No, trust me, the river itself, it's literally not like an easy way to go about, but like it's how you know how it's gonna flow. But at the same time, like it's one of those things that you can't predict right away, but you have to see
Rivers
as
have rocks in them sometimes.
no, it's something as you go along, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm
Like
talking about like rocks representing like the eruptions in our life that we don't expect, and then the white rapids happen.
oh, trust me, that's like an unexpected moment,
Yeah.
you know. But like, like when you see like a rocky movie, like you ever go down like Six Flags and you go in that like it was like a rapid hurricane or something.
Oh
And you're
yeah,
like
the
you're
Runaway
in that
Rapids.
tube
Yeah.
full of 8 people and you're moving and you never know the water's gonna splash on you or somebody else. You're kind of in that chance if that's gonna happen. It's like, if it splashed on you, then you know what? You're in.
Yeah, it's a water roulette.
No, I've seen many times and like probably like the 100%, I've probably been hit about like 70% of it. It's always been hit on me so far. So like my point is you never know when it's gonna hit you. So like you always want to be prepared. Like if you're gonna be the guy to do his part.
Yeah. No, it's funny because me and my friends, every time we go on that ride, we always try to okay. Let's see. I'm gonna sit here because I feel like this area is the driest, and then what happens is it bumps that one corner, and then it turns around, and then there you are, soaked. But unfortunately, we're gonna have to cut this conversation for the night. I feel like we had a great conversation, and Aaron, any last words before we leave?
Honestly, like you know what, we were just trying to bang out the idea of when it's time to be professional and when it's time to be your fun self. Like I'm okay with being yourself, but at the same time, you have to know when to do it. And I feel like we kind of spread it out a little bit. If we didn't, leave me comments. Give me messages. My taste towards Prince, that's fine. But like I feel like we were trying to give a little breast to where we were trying to go about because like I said, it's one thing to be a free spirit, but it's another thing when to do it because we don't want to do anything to offend anybody, but we want to do it to where it's like it's more to be self-aware.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So honestly, I feel like we mentioned that. If you have any comments, give me a message. I'll be happy to answer that. So like I've done, I feel like I've made my fair share, but I'm willing to go a little further. So if you guys got any questions, let me know. But Black Wolf is out. Do you have anything for us to say to us, my friend Ruben?
I was just gonna say, like, just know when to, like I said, for example, if you're meeting someone, like meeting their parents, obviously you want to be more professional. But when it comes to being your fun self, um, it's good to enjoy life. Just do responsibly, and don't go around making too much of a fool of yourself when you're out there.
All right, guys. With that being said, we are definitely on the move, and we're gonna keep in motion, and we're definitely gonna be, in moving places and keeping, things moving. So keep in touch, and message us, and we'll see what we can do to you as soon as possible. So thank
Oh
you.
yeah, and happy
Thank you.
October, everyone.
Happy October, happy Halloween, and you know what? Keep it real, guys. Keep it real. Keep it in motion. make dreams come to life, guys.
All right, good night, everyone.
And